Good evening. It's November 13th, it's Finance Committee meeting. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access channel and on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page. It will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. If you would like to zoom in, you can go to lunenburgmass.gov, go under calendar, find the Finance Committee, and pull up the agenda, and you'll have the link there. You could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have any announcements from the committee? No. Public comment? No? Town manager and finance director not here.
No.
Look, let's see if anybody's online. I don't see anybody. So we're going to go right to the public hearing.
So we're opening the public hearing now?
Yes.
Okay.
You gonna make a motion for that, or?
What, do we have to?
I'll make a motion, we go into a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, nobody's on Zoom.
So we get the first one here is the Article 1.
Do we have to read the language?
Do we? I don't know.
Usually public hearing, we read. I can read what it was on,
So Article 1, authorization to hear and/or accept the reports of officers and committees of the town submitted by the town manager to see that the town will vote to bear and/or accept the regular written reports of the town officers and committees or take any other action or to thereto. In the summary, this will allow town meeting to hear and open acts upon delivery to the town, meeting boards, committees, missions, and other officers, likely oral reports or town meeting included. And then they list 3, which is the Stormwater Task Force, the Lunenburg Municipal Building Design, and the Master Plan Steering Committee. So it sounds like this first one is to allow us to hear those reports. There's probably no financial impact on these. Just an FYI, I'm on the Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee. We met last week, I believe, and we are not going to be ready to do a report, so there might only be 2 reports. I'm not sure if the Stormwater Task Force and the Master Plan Steering Committee are ready, but there'll only be 2 if that's the case. Okay. So, any public comments? Any comments from the committee, I guess, right?
No.
No. Any from the?
Public?
On this
I'll
one?
recommend we say there's no financial impact.
Second?
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 2, amending the fiscal year 2026 omnibus budget submitted by town manager to see if the town will vote to raise an appropriate borrow or transfer from available funds all sums necessary to amend the amount voted in the fiscal year 2026 omnibus budget under Article 10 of the May 3rd, 2025 annual town meeting, or take any other actions related thereto. This article stands a special meeting to adjust annual operating budgets as warranted. A handout will be available at town meeting. Specific questions may be directed to department heads. And I think,
gonna
this says we
defer.
voted to defer it already. Did we?
We didn't, but
I didn't,
I think.
Well, this is the deferring,
Right, we won't know the numbers, so we can't make any
Right.
decisions.
So we'll defer.
So any comments from the committee on this?
no, I think the numbers are very small,
Right.
what we've seen it, but, yeah.
Any comments from the public on this? I recommend we defer this until the town meeting.
Yep.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Article 3, authorization to pay expenses from prior fiscal year, submitted by the town manager, to see if the town will vote and raise, appropriate, or transfer from available funds a sum of money for payment of the prior year's expenses, or take any action there, action relative thereto. And this requires like 9/10 vote. For a variety of reasons, expenses from the prior fiscal year are not paid during the fiscal year and are not encumbered. The article in this will include any warrants in the case that are outstanding. At the time of this print, there was only $266 due to Hayward Hospitals. I haven't heard of anything more, but I don't think we should vote on it until town meeting when we'll have the exact, if there's anything more, or this actually, I'm not even sure, they said they was gonna pay it, but it's only $266. So, any comments? Any
No.
from the-
Oh, it was on.
And so this is one we're going to defer as well?
Defer, I think,
Defer.
that makes sense, just because usually we don't know the numbers on these things, and we just wait.
Right.
Any comments from the,
Rhonda?
there was another invoice, there was an email from the town manager,
oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Parks and Recreation, I believe it is. I just read tonight.
I saw it, I didn't know what that was. I said, why am I
It was
getting
from
this?
April.
Why are they sending it to us? So that's what it was for, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
so,
remember how much it was. I'll make a recommendation that we defer this.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Article 4, authorization to fund special projects, to see if the town will vote to transfer from available funds a sum of money for a program of special projects as follows, or take any other actions thereof. Stormwater consulting, $42,900. I guess there was a few of them, so when they did it originally, they listed them, but those other ones went away, so that's why it's written the way it is. Summary, the town has been working with consultants relative to MS4 compliance and is also exploring a stormwater utility relative to the same. These funds will allow the town to contract consultants for these professional services. The likely motion under this article will transfer the $42,900 from unexpected prior fiscal year's capital articles.
So, all right, so I do have some thoughts about this one.
Sure.
The first thing is, we have spent some money already on doing the consulting, some consulting, but it hasn't been really good. The work didn't really pan out, they were using old data. My comment on this is, and I have been following the Stormwater Task Force, is that they used a consultant to come up with a tax basis formula to how to tax people to raise the revenue. The thing is, I think that's one possible solution, but not all of them. And I have not seen other options being explored. So for example, we were behind, many years ago, we were behind on our pavement, and we borrowed against, and we made the commitment to put $500,000 towards, and, actually, it was less than 500. And one thing that Bill said in the budget season early this year, was that he actually doesn't think we need to keep increasing the pavement management at the rate that we were increasing, because we took care of everything. Now we're kind of in a maintenance and doing smaller projects. It's not like we had to, spend $5 million. And I think there is a little bit of that on this stormwater task force. This is a feedback I have given, is like, what other ways we can do? Because I do see that we're behind on stormwater, and we do need to be in compliance with the state. But adding a new tax as the only way, I'm against. And I think we need to do a study, an easier study on, what it would take us to catch up, and what would be the cost of maintaining. And that might not be a new tax. That might just be, part of the budget that we have for the PW. So I'm going to vote no on this, because I didn't really like how the previous money was used, and I would like them to explore other options versus just come up with a new tax. So that's my feedback on it.
Anybody else?
Well, I think they're calling it a stormwater utility fee based on the amount of impervious surface you have on your property. So it's my understanding that this fee is supposed to fund the whole stormwater maintenance project, equipment, everything. It's gonna be quite a number.
Yeah, that's, what he said was that's for commercial properties, will be taxed based on their area, but like residential will be taxed a flat amount. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they've, yeah, that's what they're talking about. I don't know if they've actually put anything
Yeah, I don't.
together.
Where is this, I mean, I know they talked about it, I've heard them talk about
Yeah.
it, but this isn't that, this is
Right.
just
This is-
something else. But and was it on the original warrant? I don't remember if that was one of the items that was on the first drafts of the warrants about setting up the stormwater.
No, they're not setting up the stormwater utility yet.
Yeah, because,
Yeah, this looks
But this,
consulting services
to get there, and we have already had, like, the service that they hired wasn't, hey, what it would cost us to catch up with, we have this number of basins that we need to do maintenance, this is how much money will be to catch up, and this is how much money will be maintenance. Like, that's what I would like to see versus, let's just create a perpetual tax that we're gonna add to the residents. And that's my feeling about it.
yeah, so I think what this money is going to be used for is to flesh out what this stormwater,
Utility fee.
fee would be, and and how they would set it up. Is that?
Yes, that's what I understand.
Which is, because, to me, that makes more sense to do that, because I mean, I remember hearing like, oh, it's going to be not a big chunk it's not a lot of money to set it up, but, I mean, for like residential housing, but I haven't seen any real numbers. So this is really only about hiring somebody to help us create something that would have to be approved at maybe May,
Town
at May town meeting. And I guess the question is if we recommend they don't get this, where is the town? Does the town not have a consultant and will be using its own people, which maybe they're not specialized in this area? I don't know. I'm assuming, I wish the town manager was here because I could ask, why, I mean, they must have decided that a consultant was was needed.
Yeah, that wouldn't be uncommon, you know. Just like most services, yeah, they're gonna need consulting services, just like conservation and planning and whatnot. They need consulting services to help them make decisions and put a plan together to work on, to move this forward.
And 42,900 sounds like
Yeah,
it's a nice number that seems like they already have an agreement or a discussion with somebody, and that's the fee. So, I mean, I'm just guessing, but it sounds like that's the number.
most likely.
So if we vote against this, I guess we're going to say you have to, in May, we might not have the best information to make the best decisions.
Well, I think if we vote, since they already used consultants, and we saw the path that they chose to go with the consultants, which was utility tax. My vote on no is, I would like you to explore other ways to solve this problem versus just propose me a new tax. And that's where they have used the consultants, and that's where from watching their meetings, they didn't feel the consultants they used had a lot of experience, good data, and so forth. Like, I want options on how to solve this. I don't want just a new tax. Like, yeah, it will take, more machinery, but we are buying new machinery for the DPW. How many, give me more details before you start. It's just no other possible solutions have been explored.
Well, we're not alone in this. All the towns are going to be doing it. So I think they're probably following, the practices of other towns that are out there. I'm sure if there are other options, we can explore them. I guess, we'd have to, you'd have to suggest what those options are. But, yeah, we're not the only town doing this. This is not new.
There is one town that they talk about it that have the stormwater utility tax, which is Chelmsford. But many other towns are in compliance, or they're working to be in compliance, that don't have a separate tax for it. So,
I'm opening to hearing options as well.
yeah, I am too. I don't want to just have one option, and I don't want to just have, so that's.
Yeah, so should we defer this until the town meeting so we could hear the presentation from whoever's going to make, I don't
Sure.
have that open, and then based on that, we can even ask
Yeah.
questions. Obviously, people in town can ask questions, then from that, we can make a vote at that point.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Do you want to see if the public want to
Yep.
run do you have any?
Public have any
No.
comments?
All right, so I move that we defer this article into presentation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yay. All right, Article 5, Public Access Cable Committee Transfer of Funds, submitted by Public Access Cable Committee, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $35,271 from retained earnings of PEG Access and cable-related enterprise funds to fund the FY26 PEG Access and cable-related enterprise operations and capital budget, or take any other actions relative thereto. The select board approved this 5-0. Summary: as of 2025 annual town meeting, $31,271 was included in the operation funds for PAC. At that time, the enterprise fund had not been certified as retained earnings by the state. Now that retained earnings are certified, the sum of $31,271 can be transferred, along with an additional $4,000 to cover additional videographer's hours. The monies previously appropriated to PAC for the general fund will be unspent and later certified as free cash. So I see where the 35,000 is coming from.
Yeah, I would recommend we approve this. I see also on the draft I'm looking at, they have this on the consent calendar.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion?
Any from the public?
Rhonda?
Okay. So do we have a motion?
I recommend approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Article 6, Cemetery Commission Transfer of Funds. Submitted by Cemetery Commission to see if the town will vote to transfer $10,000 from the Cemetery Sale of Lots Fund 8115 to the Capital Article Fund 3006, or take any other actions relative thereto. Select Board recommended approval 5-0. The articles transferred funds from cemetery lot sales to the Cemetery Capital Article Fund. The Cemetery Commission intends the use of these funds to cover expenses associated with headstone straightening repairs, along with other cemetery projects. I think this is a pretty standard, we get these every year, and this is actually on the consent agenda too, which we have to
Yes.
vote on later.
Yep. Recommend
Any
approval.
discussion?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Article 7. Authorization to fund a sum of money for project estimators, submitted by town manager, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds the sum of $50,000 for the engagement of one or more consultants to assist with capital project estimations, or take any other relative action thereto. This was, let's see, this was approved by the Select Board 5-0. You need 2/3. Summary, the facility director for the town and schools, as well as the Department of Public Works directors, are responsible for preparing and submitting capital fund projects requests while they are developing cost estimates based on their own experience and using industry standards. There are occasions when the use of outside consultants would provide a more accurate estimate of project costs. In the past, some capital projects have exceeded the original estimates. This article seeks to improve the accuracy of project costs, and reduce the likelihood of overruns. This likely motion under the article will transfer $50,000 from unexpended prior fiscal year's capital articles. So from this, it sounds like they want to have a fund available so that the facilities director or other
School.
can use to hire a consultant to do a proper estimate for probably the capital committee, right?
I think it's any kind of project.
Project from
Yeah.
the sound of it.
How does that work? I mean, once that fund is set, who approves expenditures from that fund?
Person, the town manager has overall responsibility.
Yeah, how do they divvy it up?
Well, yeah. That'd be a good question to ask. She's not here.
50,000 is, I don't think is a lot of money.
It's usually, so, I heard her from the select board meeting to say, usually an estimator for projects, for complex projects, about $5,000-6,000. And this is a fund that would exist, because it's a fund and not part of the budget, it would be used over multiple years. So, for a specific use.
Well, we've, at least I've seen a number of capital projects that have come in over budget. The primary school heating, air conditioning thing was one, and others. And so I think this is a good way to try to get better information so that when we do make decisions, we have better information. So I think to me, this is a good way to to at least have funds available to do that, to hire professionals. Doesn't mean it's going to be right, but it does mean that at least it'll be, hopefully, we'll get better information and better numbers than we have in the past in some cases.
The one thing, I agree, I'm not against funding project estimators, I think that's a good, one thing is, the money that we are using is from a unfulfilled, like not completed capital plan project. And
I mean, we get those, sometimes, sometimes we bid high, we get high numbers, sometimes we have low. So we sometimes have money left over.
And I know that, it's just our financial operations usually are that we are funding this type of thing in the spring during annual town meeting where we get all our monies, we put into free cash or not, we take money out of leftover from and we do our financial planning then. And with one big pot of money. This one is, we can always take money from capital, not completed capital plans, projects. It's just, someone who cares about finances operational, I don't think it's the best operation.
You mean funding source?
Yeah, it's just the way
Capital?
it's the way it's flowing the money. It's just we're creating a lot of pockets money that we're going to get this money from here and put it there. I like when things are done well, simple, and process.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that if the town had a fund set up and then they said, we're going to put 20 grand into the account because the fund's running short out of the budget, then that would be the easiest way to do it. I'm guessing here, and maybe it's just my guess, is that they want to use the money for this capital project season, I guess, is that, if we can call it that, as a
Well,
capital.
this is specifically for capital projects.
Right. So they want to, so they don't want to wait till the next budget. They want to set it up now, put 50 grand in so they can use it for
The remaining calendar.
the remaining calendar year for the stuff that they're working on now. And I haven't seen the capital, has anybody seen the capital committee's meetings? I haven't seen them.
I have.
A
Chris
couple of them.
is on that committee, right?
Yeah, they only have had a couple.
Yeah, so that's my guess, that they want to do
They've had
that.
like three.
And I think you're right, that it would be better to fund it through the budget
Right,
in the long run, because it's just more transparent.
right.
But if there's money left over for capital projects, why not take it from that?
Right.
Instead of taking it out of the budget? If it's specifically for funding capital projects.
My point on bringing it up is I would like us to not engage too much into this kind of, this way of doing things because it makes less clear financial operations overall and it's harder to track things. That's all.
Yeah.
I think
I
you're right.
understand what you're saying, but I know in the past, there's been other money articles where they come up and they've got a whole list of, they're taking $10 from over here and $100 from this and $100, and there's a whole list of stuff to fund this one project.
Yeah.
This is similar to that, other than it's specifically coming out of unexpended capital, specifically for a capital project.
Sure.
But I understand what you're saying, though, as far as, yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Keeping it clean.
Yeah, I'm not going to vote against. It's a warning that preferably we should try to do these things all at once with intention, have all our monies there. I don't, honestly, it's not my strong preference. We don't know what next year is going to be like. We're funding something that she's expecting to use over many years. Well, why not just put $15,000 every year on, I I have a lot of thoughts on it. It feels like more it's an operational thing, because we're always going to have facilities, put an extra $10,000 in facility, or $15,000 in the facility budget every year, make it part of their operations, yada, yada, yada. So I know, but I'm not going to vote against. I'm just saying, if it's messy, that's all.
I think that the right way to handle these kinds of things would be since this is really not part, this is before we even approve a capital project. So this is a budgety item. I would say the best way to do it would be to have a fund, and then we budget money, during budget season to do this. And any money that's left over for capital articles at the end of whatever period of time goes back to free cash, and then we deal with it that way. That's the cleanest way to do
Right.
it. I agree with that. However, I think this time around, because they want the money now to do the things that they need to set up the fund, I would agree to do this. However, I would recommend that, or I would suggest, we don't have any power, but I would suggest that further funding of this be done through the budget.
Agreed.
That would be the fair way to do it, because I do understand why they want the money now.
No, I'm with you. I think we're all on the same page.
Yep.
Any public comments?
I'll make a recommendation, we approve the article.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to say no,
No?
only because I would still like to hear how the money's going to be divvied up between departments.
Okay, Article 8, to see if the town will accept, that's from the school committee, to see if the town will accept provision from Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 13E, to establish a special education reserve fund to utilize in the upcoming fiscal year to pay without further appropriations for unanticipated, unbudgeted costs of special eds and recovery high school programs, out-of-pocket district tuitions or transportation, or take any other actions relative thereof. This was approved by the Select Board 4-1. The summary, this article will establish a special education reserve fund which will be used to support the town's special ed costs. The fund is a tool to help level the tax impact of fluctuating expenses for the fund legally mandated special educational services. These funds are used to help fund unanticipated or unbudgeted costs of special ed, education out-of-district tuition, transportation costs, and recovery high school tuition. The balance of the funds cannot exceed 2% of the annual net school spending of the school district. Funds can only be expended or transferred out of the reserve fund after the majority vote of the school committee and the majority vote of the select board, as is specified under Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 13E. Monies accumulated in that fund over from one fiscal year to the next. If established at the November 18th special town meeting, funds will be transferred in to the special ed funds at future town meetings. So that means that this is just setting up the fund, not
Funding.
So
funding
I will vote no on this, and I have a lot of reasons for it. So I'm going to start, because I think this is putting the cart ahead of the horse. There is no reason to create this fund now. A fund can be created and funded on the same town meeting. Of all the issues that we have had with school budget, none has been because of these items that they are claiming there, that this fund can be used for. This fund is not setting up how it's going to be funded. And we need to have a lot of conversations about the school budget, their financial management, before I create a new fund for them. Like, this is just so such bad timing, in my opinion, after they have shown such poor financial management of the funds that they have. How can they be asking us to create a new one? These are not the problems that we're having with the school budget. This is insulting to me, to be honest. It's how I feel about it. It's really putting the cart ahead of the horse. These are not the problems that we have had. This is not why they had, that much money left over from their budget. And they're asking us to put more money aside, and it's just, no, there's no reason to create this now. I need for them to show me that they can do good financial management before we start creating new funds. If any of these things happen, this is the other interesting thing, and Glenn was the one who brought this up. If any of these things happen, it's mandatory that we fund them. We are going to fund them. We're going to need to fund. If a kid moves in, it goes up, we're going to have to fund it. There's no need to create a special fund for it. But anyway, so I feel very strong against this one because of those reasons. But anyway, that was me.
I was just looking it up to see if this was a new law that the state now is allowing us to do this.
Nope.
It's not? Okay, because I'm just looking it up to see if it was new. I can't tell.
I think it covers
They
too many
funded it in the
things, quite honestly.
They have?
I said, I think it covers too many things, like, they list out, they start off with, the cost of special education, which that always concerns me because that can be a huge hit to you very, very quickly. But the out-of-district tuition, transportation costs, and such, that just seems to be a cover-all type of number fund they're trying to put together when they misbudget
Yeah,
it.
I think those are all the subgroups of the special ed, and we're mandated to pay it. So it's a question of not do we pay it, it's how we pay it, and kind of thing. So I usually like to have, when things are unknown or things are, you kind of know something's going to happen at some point, putting aside some money, during the good years to say, okay, we have a fund here that, we're going to use when something bad, not bad, when something happens where we have to spend another $300,000 for a special needs student that we didn't anticipate when the budget was created. It's good to have that kind of money. It gives more freedom to those people. It is the school committee will have to approve it, and the select board will have to approve it. So I get it, I understand it. I just don't know enough about why now. That's the question, and I wish I had either the superintendent or the town manager here to do this. I think it might make sense to me, but at this very point, I don't know, because I don't have enough knowledge about why they think this is good. I don't know the history of the special ed.
And how are they going to fund? Why are we creating a new bucket of money that we don't have way to fund it? And then the other thing I don't want to happen is, comes next year, we go, well, we got to fund that. And we say, well, not yet. Well, why did you create the fund if we're not planning to fund? It's like, just make it clean.
Well, again, I don't know enough about how these things, special ed programs work. I know the function of it, but I don't know, are we always, and I know the state pays us back some of it if it's different. I remember all that, but if we're always, if the last 5 years we've always been, okay, we need another $300,000 for the special ed budget because of whatever happens, then to me, you either budget more for it or you can put aside a reserve fund. And then if you don't use it that year, well, then you have it for next year. And then you might say, okay, well, there's $300,000 in there. We don't need to fund it this year. And then that's fine. You just have the money available to do the thing. So I don't know enough about it. So my inkling would be to right now, I don't think I know enough to vote to either approve or deny. I would say I would defer and then understand let them explain, and we can ask questions. But that's my point.
Jay, do you have anything to say?
I just want to know how they plan to fund it. Is this coming out of the school budget?
Well, that's, I mean, I think Rhonda actually wants to speak on this one, since we're in the public hearing. I'm sorry, Jean, is that okay? She's teaching that. She was like,
Wanted?
One of them.
Oh, okay.
Ron Delicia, 181 Reservoir Road. I just wanted to kind of take bits and pieces of what I've heard, and I agree with the statement that I think these type of funds where you're specifying, you're limiting your purpose of what they can be used for, it's best to do those things in more prosperous times than what we're in right now. I don't think we should be, I mean, not only, I get the point that they don't want to put money in it now, but I don't even agree with creating such a fund at this time due to the economic circumstances. And the circumstances that I've seen, the things I've seen happen in the last few years of at the very last minute, things have to change and we're taking money from here and there. I think we need flexibility because we seem very just unstable. And I like to be, I think we need to be flexible and able to react and creating any kind, and it's not against the schools. If anyone was out to create a new stabilization or reserve fund right now, I'd be saying no. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so are we deferring on this?
I don't know. Does anybody want, well, I know Anna probably doesn't wants to vote against it, but do we,
I
is it okay to defer? or-
I mean, if we vote, I'm going to vote no. I have enough information to not wanting to vote on this. But if fellow members want to defer, I'm okay deferring.
I mean, you can vote no at town meeting.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I certainly can. If, I don't know if other people prefer to defer or,
You want to, would you do?
I don't know enough about it. Like, I'd like to hear a little bit more about how this whole thing's gonna work and, you know, and whatnot before.
So, okay, I'll make a motion that we defer this to the town meeting.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we're deferring. All right, next one is Article 9, 41A, property tax deferral, submitted by the Board of Assessors to see if the town will vote to increase the gross receipts that seniors may have in their prior calendar year to be eligible to defer property taxes under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5. Clause 41A, from $20,000 to 100% of the amount established annually by the Commissioner of Revenue as the income limit for seniors who are not heads of household to qualify for the circuit breaker, state income tax credit, so-called, for the preceding year tax. And such increase to be effective from defers grants for tax assessments for the fiscal year beginning on or after July 1st, 2026. This was recommended for approval by the Select Board 5-0. And the summary is under Clause 41A, seniors may be able to delay payment of their property taxes. Under the property taxes does not discharge the tax obligations like an exemption. Instead, it defers payment until the senior sells the home or passes away. A deferral allows the senior to use the sources that could go to pay for taxes to defray living expenses instead. Town meeting is authorized to vote to increase the gross receipt limit from $20,000 up to the income limit allowed for the circuit breaker state income tax credit for a single non-head of household filer, currently $72,000. The town meeting in Lunenburg has previously voted to lower the interest rate on deferred tax accruals from 8 to 4%. And that's it. So it looks like they want to increase the eligibility income from 20,000 to 72,000, or in the future, whatever the Commissioner of Revenue sets.
Is this a different number than was presented before?
I don't know.
Yes, so there was, in the beginning, there's different circuit breaker numbers. And there was 109,000, which would have been a married couple,
Yeah, I thought it was single and,
but now they're just saying single. Now, this would have a budget impact,
Yeah.
because it would be,
you get your property taxes.
it would be taken from the overlay. I wasn't sure if the town could use like accrual revenue, like as a way to, for its budget, but we do cash, I guess. So we wouldn't be seeing this money. The question that I had asked was, how many people do we have in town? Because there are other services, other tax deferrals or tax break that people get, that the circuit breaker is a qualifier. I haven't got that number, because that would be the maximum number of people that could apply for this, right? And the town would be first, would have a lien on all of these properties, so, anyway. Yeah. Rhonda, do you?
If you guys are done.
Yeah.
Rhonda Licio, 181 Reservoir Road. I just want to say, there's been an awful lot of these type of articles where, I mean, I'm all about helping seniors, but at the same time, there is a dollar impact on all the other taxpayers, and I feel like I have no sense of what all these exemptions that we keep approving at every town meeting, and these other things, plus the what was the big one that we did, the senior, I don't know, whatever
The
it
one that
the
was
program.
Lou Franco worked on?
Yes,
Okay.
Tom.
okay.
Contributing
Yeah.
to,
They still haven't figured out a formula or whatever on how they're going to spread that cost among the other taxpayers. So it just bothers me, like, you're the finance committee, and if they're not giving you a dollar impact, I don't think you should be voting. If they're not telling you if they can't tell you what the dollar impact to every other taxpayer is,
the-
then maybe you should not be voting on it. Thanks.
Well, this isn't a forgiveness, this is a deferral. So ultimately, the town is going to get the money plus 4% interest when the people when they're no longer in the house. Kind of like a reverse mortgage kind of situation, I'm sure. So this is a financial thing, because it's we won't have the money this year, we'll have it maybe in 4 years, who knows? And it will be growing every year. The longer these people are in the home, and they still maintain it, the larger it will be. So I do agree that there is a financial thing, and I would like to know what they estimate the cost to be, because you're going from 20,000 to 72,000.
That's a big jump.
That's a big jump. Is that going to be, 10% more people, or
Well,
200%
that's the
more
unknown.
people?
Until
Yeah.
people actually apply, you don't know. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I have reservations about 72,000.
That's just the income level.
Yeah.
Right, that's the
I mean,
income
it's
level. Right.
70,000, significant income level.
Right, and if you're a retired person, you don't, 72,000 is not a lot of money, but it's also not, there are people with lots of other, they have lots of savings and then they draw on that and their income isn't that great, but that's why they saved all those years ago, so.
I think to qualify
Question.
for the circuit breaker, they do look at your assets.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. I would- you'd
Yeah,
have to
so it's not like you
qualify.
can-
You'd have to qualify.
Yeah, it's not like you can have $3 million in assets and then have just Social Security as your income, you wouldn't qualify for it.
Well, this might be another one I think that we just, we can defer. Since I would like to know that, from the people giving the presentation. And also I'd like to know once, what do they estimate the cost to be? If it's relatively small amount of money, we're not forgiving the debt. We're just, so, 5 years from now, it might be that for every dollar we defer, we're getting $1 back because the people are leaving. So this could be a revolving thing that maybe maxes out or, grows slowly after a while because of people paying back the money that they deferred. And they said 4%, but we could get 8%, but even at 4%, that's a decent return. So it can make sense. I think the town would like to do something for elderly people who live in the town, who can't afford, who are having financial difficulties, to keep them in the town, which will have benefits to the town in that they usually don't have children, and that means we don't have to educate them, which makes it cheaper for the town to run. So, I'm positive feeling towards this, but again, without any other people to tell me information, I don't know enough to make a final decision.
I agree, so should we defer to hopefully get more
Yeah,
information?
I think wait till they do the presentation, we can defer it and see what they say. If anybody, I don't know, that's just my thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll recommend we defer this.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, the next one. Article 10, 21 Main Street, assessment, town manager and the select board, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to acquire a gift meeting for nominal consideration and assessment deterred to be uniquely through within the certain property known as 21 Main Street, Lunenburg, adjacent to Town Hall, said assessment being comprising of 442 square feet, more or less, shown as permanent and exclusive easement, 44.2 plus square foot on the plan of land entitled Easement Plan in Lunenburg, Mass., prepared by Gillison Roy Civil Design Group, dated March 13, 2025, and on file with the Office of Town Clerk for the purpose of maintaining, repairing, and replacing and/or installing a new, and for the ongoing use of the deck, ramp, and sidewalk appurtenance to the assessing and the aforementioned Town Hall, or for the incidental purpose, or to take any other action thereof. Select Board approved it 5-0. This is about the ramp on the side of the Town Hall, which is, I guess, not properly placed, so this easement will make the ramp legal. So I don't know if there's a financial, I guess there would be, because if we didn't, we'd have to take it down and figure another way to get people in the building, which would cost money. So I would say it's probably a financial consideration.
There's no budget number.
Well,
It's an indirect financial.
yeah, it'd be indirect, because but I think this is just saying we can keep the ramp there legally, and nicely, the people next door are willing to do that.
Well, the one thing is saying, select board to acquire by gift. So
The easement's the gift.
the easement is a gift. They're giving, okay.
So they're, yeah, I've talked to him a couple of times, and he just says, I was told by, I think it was when he was buying the property, that that was the case. He let the town know, the town had, I think, Dylan and Roy take a look and say, yeah, you're right. And so he's just basically saying, yeah, we'll make it all legal, and that way you don't have to worry about it. It's a nice thing for him to do. He could have asked for money, I think, but I don't think that's his style anyways. But anyways, I think it's a no-brainer, but the question is does it have a financial impact? I guess indirectly it could, but I don't think it,
There's no budget number.
yeah.
I would say there is no financial impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
I'll second that.
Financial impact to the budget.
yeah.
Rhonda, did you have any comment on that? All in favor?
I,
Right.
Okay, no financial impact. Okay, Article 11, transfer the care and custody and control of Kids Kingdom and the land it is on from the school committee to the select board, submitted by town manager and the select board, to see if the town will vote to transfer the care, custody, and control of a portion of the land with the building thereon known as Kid Kingdom located at 1079 Mass Ave, more specifically identified in the assessors records as map 60, parcel 55, as shown on the plan of land entitled Approximate Parcel Configuration, Passios Building and Brooks House, dated April 15, 2016, and on file with the office of the town clerk from the school committee, presently held for school purposes to the select board for general municipal purposes or to take any actions thereof. Select board approved it 5-0, and the comments are that the Connor Lawrence Memorial Playground or King Center has been a special part of the community for nearly 20 years. And I'll add, there was a one before that, that was the wooden one, that was there for, I don't know how many years, you probably know, probably 20 more years before that?
Long time.
Yeah, so there's been a playground there for 40 or so years. Playground continues to hold sentimental value for the families and have been enjoyed by many generations of Lunenburg children. At the 2016 annual meeting, voters voted to transfer the T.C. Passio Elementary School and the Brooks House from the school committee to the select board, while the school committee retained care and custody control of Kids Kingdom. In 2025, town meeting authorized funding for a design of additional parking to support the adult activity center. While the town has not yet engaged a designer, it has been suggested that the new parking configuration may need to expand into the area where Kids Kingdom directly sits. This transfer does not represent a decision or definite relocation of Kids Kingdom, and that decision will only be made after substantial opportunities for public input. This is an administrative step that will enable the town to continue study how best to meet the needs of our senior population and the community desires to preserve the legacy and purpose of King's Kingdom in a thorough and respectful manner. So basically, they want to take control, the town wants to take control of Kids Kingdom, and then at some point, maybe build more parking for the adult center and do something. It's not clear, and they're very honest about it. They don't know what they're going to do with Kids Kingdom. I had a talk with somebody yesterday about this, and they were adamant that they didn't want to do this. They would be at town meetings against it because they don't want Kids Kingdom moved. I think it's near the library, near the club, the old Boys and Girls Club, the club. It's historically been there forever, and I understand that feeling. But I don't know what the plans are, and for this, I would assume that whatever they do, they would build a parking lot and move Kids Kingdom. It could be they just move it 50 feet to the right, or they move it somewhere else, but it's not clear what they're going to do. So, again, it's, I don't know.
It's
I'm
no-
torn
it's-
on this.
It's no financial impact on the budget.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Does,
no, but,
This is,
does the simple transfer of it from one department to the other have any financial impact?
Yeah.
well, I guess you're right,
transferring
yeah.
from this- yeah.
It's when we
Right,
start to
you're-
vote on
you're
what
right.
to do with
You're
it.
exactly right. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was thinking about it, the next step,
Yeah.
about spending the money and moving the kids thing. I would, yeah, but I guess that's for when we have input, that'll be when we can put our input at that point. I stand corrected, okay.
Okay, so I moved
No
that.
financial?
No financial impact.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Okay, Article 12, notice of town meeting. See if the town will, see what town will, this is from the town manager and the select board. The town will vote to amend the code of Lunenburg, Chapter 81, entitled Town Meetings, Section 1, entitled Warrants, by making certain deletions and strike-throughs and additions in bold italics as follows. I don't know if I want to read the whole thing, but basically they want to have the warrants available at the Town Hall, Wayland's Variety Store, Powell Stone and Gravel, and Jack's, Jaxx, on Mass Ave. And they also, Part B, the warrants for any of these be reported and recommended to the Finance Committee, together with any warrants for the annual, be posted in the town website and available at Town Hall at least 14 days prior to such meetings. The select board causing a notification of the date of town meeting and available of the warrants to be mailed in each dwelling in which registered voters reside at least 14 days prior to the meeting. So they would notify, or other actions taken thereof. The select board voted 5-0. The summary is the town currently mails the warrant books to every household in which a registered voter resides. The mailing has substantial cost to both printing and of the booklets and the mailing itself. This amendment would allow notice of the meeting in a form or a letter or postcard to be mailed to each home at a much lower cost. The printing of the booklets also cause time restraints for the staff and the board and committees. So basically what they're saying here is that they want to not have to print all of these things out and mail them out at a cost of, I don't know what it costs, but it costs money to print and mail. And they will have, I understand, will have copies here, or you can print them off the town website. That's going to be the, obviously, if you're going to, I don't know, if you're going to save money by not printing them, that'd be a financial thing, I guess, so.
So I don't like this one either. I think, our town budget is almost, for FY '25, was almost $49 million. These booklets are the only thing that we do, that we deliver to every household as a way to engage our citizens. And I think, I do appreciate our town employees, but, printing of the booklet causes time constraints for staff and board and committee. Like, if we don't have our ducks in a row about things that we're going to be voting on, we shouldn't be voting on. The time constraint, for me, is actually, for me, you're making a case against it. Like, if we're going to town meeting, I don't want anything being done last minute. I want things to be well communicated with the citizens. It's really, government being bothered by having to engage citizens, sure, I'm okay with that. And it's the only thing that we do that gets, we're communicating with every person who lives in Lunenburg. I don't, it is not a big financial savings. I think they told me it's about $6,000 every town meeting out of a $49 million budget. We're trying to create more convenience. But in my mind, I'm going, I was just arguing with a commission in town because they're not communicating with residents enough. And now we're removing the only other way that if I had knocked on people's door, they would have known about changes that were coming to their neighborhood. I don't like it. I don't think it's a big savings.
I would feel that way, except it is going to be available on the town website. So anybody who has a computer, looks at their phone, is able to access it. And if somebody really wants one, they can request one. So it's not as dire as you might think.
No, I hear you. I'm not disagreeing with that. It's really, we want to try to engage more people. I think people that, we want to engage more people. By not sending, we are not engaging more people. We have town meeting next week. Other than if you're not listening to meetings, the select board, if you're not, we're not engaging the citizen any other way. There's not a banner up front. There's nothing, and this is the one thing that we do, that we engage every household in town. So if we're not sending to,
Voters,
say it again?
registered voters, not every.
No, every household gets,
It says registered
They've registered,
voters.
yeah, I guess.
They,
oh,
And they still will get something. It'll say, hey, there's a meeting on this date, and if you want one, they'll tell you what to do, and,
or look on the website.
yeah, or maybe there'll be one of those little code things that you can do so you can get it, whatever.
QR code.
I'm sure they'll make it easy, but there'll be a notification to these people that there's a meeting and where to get the warrant if they want it. I know, it's I'll be honest, as somebody in my old job, as a banker, we mailed statements to people every month, and it was a huge cost. And working for a credit union, every dollar we spent was our members' money. So we're like, we want to do electronic sending because it just makes it so much easier. And for 99% of the people, we were trying to get them to do that because it would save us money, which would save them money, and it was would be safer too, because that was financial stuff rather than this stuff. So I have I'm biased towards that. If it's $6,000 or $7,000, whatever it costs, the price of mail is only going to go up, and the town's getting bigger, so it's going to go up more and more. But it's not a big chunk, but it is something we could spend $6,000 or $7,000 on something else. So to me, it's as long as people feel like they can, everybody feels like they can get access to the warrants in an easy way, then I wouldn't mind not spending the money. I would think this is kind of what we're asked them to do, to find a way to do things better. And this is probably a good way to do it. But I do understand that there's going to be some people who don't have like my mom is 92, doesn't live in town, but she doesn't, no matter how hard we try to give her, go on, you can go on. No, it's not going to happen. So, we got to, there's going to be those people.
Sorry.
oh, sorry, I was going to ask if, but you first.
Oh, no, as I say, the only thing that I would say is whatever you send out to notify about the town meeting, it actually has to list out what's on the article, not to the point of the article, but.
No, they want to send a postcard.
Yeah, see, that where I have a problem with, because if people don't have it in their hand and see anything that's going to interest them or something that they're interested in, they may not go download it, right? It's in the back of your mind now, whereas when the warrant comes in, people pop that open pretty quick and look through it to see what's on it. But if you just get, a warrant, then, or just a postcard that says, hey, go get your warrant, it may
It's
not.
going to, it says here, it's going to say, they're going to send it to the House. It's going to say the date of the town meeting and where the warrants are going to be available. And it's online.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. Oh,
Rhonda?
Ron DeLucia, 181 Reservoir Road. I completely agree with those who would like to keep sending the warrant to the households. I have a personal preference. I like hard copies. Someone once gave me a Nook as a gift. I couldn't stand it. I like a hard book. I like a book in my hands. So I do have a personal preference myself, and if at my age that I have that, I imagine it's the same for the seniors that we were just discussing earlier. I would think that would be their personal preference as well. And I think we spend a lot more than $6,000 on things that I would question than sending out these booklets twice a year. Thanks.
so, Mike's point is a good one, like, I would like if at least we could send, a quick summary of something that's coming up to at least keep people engaged. And the way this ideas came to us, like, there wasn't a lot of time for public input, like, I feel like some of these changes when it comes to Lunenburg, we have had a lot of opportunities for, hey, we're thinking of doing this, what are your thoughts? And even if 3 people shows up in that, allows for the public to participate on that process, because we might end up with something that reflects more what the desire of the citizens are. Like, I really like Mike's idea, maybe we're not sending a whole booklet, but maybe we're sending, a quick summary that helps people see what's coming up. And we haven't had a chance to participate on that, other than reading the explanation. It feels like a big change, one that we should advocate the voters more about changes and discuss it and make it, I don't know, like, it just feels like we had an idea and we're going to put it in the warrant.
How many people do we mail these to? Say it's everybody in Lunenburg.
Well,
And how many people go to town meeting?
Right, it's a small percentage, and I remember hearing that a lot of them come back, and they get like tons of them that come back here. But it's a question that, to me, it's a question of, as we all know, being people who volunteer our time, and there's not a lot of people who have the time or the energy or the desire or they care. They don't care about it. It's not, they figure it's going to be okay, fine. So it's a small number of people that go to town meeting anyways. And it's, I've been going for years, it's the same 125, 30 people. And then if there's something with the lakes, then you get another 100 people come in.
Or school.
Or the school, you get another 100 people come in. But this, if it's kind of like this month, it's going to be the same 100 people that we see all the time. I don't know if we can do anything about that. That's just the way, it's, when you have a lot of people at a town meeting, that means you're doing something wrong. That means they're mad. They're mad about the school budget, the override, the streets, the plowing, the water, whatever they're mad about. That's why they're there. The water stuff, they're mad. So, at my old job, we have annual meetings, and it's a not-for-profit, and we say, if very few members show up, that's a good thing, because that means they're happy. It's only the angry members that show up, which isn't always true. We used to get a bunch of good members, too, that just wanted to say thank you or something. But, so I think it's a hard thing to do, but I understand what everybody's saying. I just think that it's probably a good thing to do to save a few bucks. And if, we can always, if there's like a big outcry from certain people that don't have software, or people who do that, we can figure a way to get them those things. I think it would be cheaper than printing them out. But I understand the other point of view too. I don't think I understand that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
So I guess we can make a motion to either approve or deny this, and we can just vote on it, and whoever wins, it's either approval or denial.
yeah, I think usually they like motions on the positive.
All right, so I'll recommend we approve this.
Second.
Okay.
Again,
All in
there's no
favor?
budget number.
Yeah, that's the other thing, there is no,
Well, we know that printing will save us money, so it's a fine. Well, we don't know what it is, but
Still
we know
indirect.
it's at least $1. So, okay, so
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
What's the motion?
to approve the article.
I think you need to do it again.
Was that?
Oh, I think you need to call it out again. because-
I
Well,
recommend-
Jay, do you have something else? You seem to have questions.
Well, again, there's no budget number. There's, usually when we vote for a yea or nay, it's on, if there's a budget number, otherwise there's no
It's a
financial impact.
$6,000 savings.
But it's
or
not saying,
more.
they haven't given us that number.
But we know that if they're not printing
It's-
these things, they're going to be saving
I
No,
money.
I think that Jen said that at the last
It usually
meeting.
refers to the budget, you know, how does it impact the budget, and they haven't presented a number.
Right. Well, I understand that. And we've had this discussion, I
Yeah.
think, with Chris, our chairman, before about what is the definition of not a financial interest. And some of us take it, pretty broadly, and others, like you, take it more tight, which I have no problem with either, so. So, I don't know how, so it looks like we have, well, let's just do it. Who would want to approve this? I would.
I would.
Anybody else? You guys would want to
No.
not approve this?
Yep.
And you'd probably be like, I think it's no financial.
I have mixed feelings on in general about, you know, I agree with both sides of the argument about saving money, but also engaging people. But because there is, like I said, there's no budget number here, I'll be voting no on it.
All right,
Okay.
So we, you know,
okay, good.
So we
So,
get this-
okay, we will deny this. We'll not recommend this, 3-2.
you know, people also have the option to abstain as well if they,
Oh, yeah, right. No, I wasn't even trying to do the vote. I was just trying to understand where we all were so we could figure out.
Move on to the next.
How do we put this down? Because we want to be able to say to the people how we agree.
yeah.
All right, Article 13, which is, I don't know, 6 pages long. I'm just going to read the summary of it because it's the Article 13 MBTA Zoning Act compliance. And the summary is the town of Lunenburg, along with 176 other designated MBTA communities, is subject to the new requirement under Section 3A of the Massachusetts Zoning Act. The state law mandates that the MBTA communities have a zoning ordinance or bylaw that provides for at least one district of reasonable size in which multifamily housing is permitted as a right and is suitable for families and children, no age restrictions, and has a minimum gross density of 15 units per acre. Communities that fail to comply with this new law will not be eligible for funds from various state funding sources, including housing choice initiatives, local capital projects, and the Mass Workers Infrastructure. More information can be found at the Planning Board page under MBTA Community Zoning information at www.lunenburgmass.gov. And there's a lot of stuff in here. And we heard, I think, we heard it, right? From his presentation on that, from what he has said, that we have a lot of the things that we needed were already in our bylaws, but there were some new ones, but I can't remember what they are. But ultimately, the question is if we don't vote for it, we can lose a lot of money. So it's kind of a gun to our head kind of situation.
So,
this is
sorry, go ahead.
this is a planning board article.
It's a planning board article, yes.
This is the paper compliance with the MBTA Communities Act.
So what happens to the town if we vote for yes? I mean, what do we have to do right away? I mean, other than make bylaws?
What do you
Well, I
mean?
think they're doing a paper compliance
So it's just a,
on paper, the tri-town area, they've figured out something to be paper compliant with the law, is my understanding.
so we've already complied? Oh,
Yeah, because there's a deadline on when we have to comply by.
okay.
I'll say there's no financial impact.
Yeah, there's no direct financial impact.
I agree.
There's no budget number.
It looks like the select board deferred. I don't see on the other one if they approved it. I don't think so. I remember the conversation, but I don't remember all the details. I just remember I remember reading all the articles about a couple of towns near Boston that didn't want to do it, and then they got threatened, and it
Yeah,
was not a nice
there were
thing.
lawsuits over it.
Yeah. All right, so, I'll do the, no financial impact. I'll make that recommendation, no financial impact.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, Article 14, also from the Planning Board, removal of bituminous concrete requirements for common driveways, to see if the town will vote to amend the Code of Lunenburg, Chapter 250, being the town protective bylaws, Section 6.4, entitled Driveway and Entrances, subdivision C7, C6, with deletions therefore shown in the strikeout area. The common driveway will be constructed of materials resistant to erosion and frost, heave, and sufficiently to support an axle of 34,000 pounds under all weather conditions, and omitting what is now in there, the common driveway will be paved with at least 3 inches of minimum thickness layer of bituminous concrete, or take any other action thereunto. So it's basically just getting rid of the requirement for 3 inches of concrete. And
I would say there's no financial
Yeah, no
impact.
financial impact.
okay, I agree. I'll make that motion, no financial
Se-
impact.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Article 15, amendments to salary administration plan, SAP positions, titles, and grades. To see if the town will vote to amend the Code of Lunenburg, Chapter 70, Section A, entitled Salaries Administration Plans, as follows: that the portion of the conservation agent be added, or the position of the conservation agent be added and assigned to grade 13, that the title of land use director be amended to director of planning and economic development, and that the title of special assistant to the assessor temporary, and that the following language be added to the end of thereof, provided that other terms and conditions of employment for said position shall be subject to an employment contract in accordance with Section 70-30 or any other actions taken thereon. The Select Board approved this 5-0. This article places the position of conservation agent on the classification and salaries schedule, and changes the title of the land use director to the director of planning and economic development. This also creates the possible position of special assistant to the assessor temporary. The Board of Assessors has received directives from the Department of Revenue to complete prior to the next full reevaluation in 2029. One of the directives is to review all residential neighborhood delineations in accordance with indicated land value use and adjust them as needed prior to the next certification. Consideration should be given to conducting a neighborhood study for all residential parcels and market areas. Neighborhood 3 and the waterfront neighborhoods will need to be annually reviewed by the assessor. The special assistant will assist the town in working towards compliance with the DOR directives. So, again, this is just adding a position, a couple of positions, changing a name, and the position of the temporary assistant to the assessor is for a lot of work, which kind of reminds me of all the problems we had a couple of years ago. Data was the problem, so this is going to be even making our data better and keeping it up, so it makes sense. Right.
Any discussion?
Rhonda, do you have anything to say?
Rhonda Lucia, 181 Reservoir Road. It just seems to me that there's no, you're not being given any numbers to even state whether this has, what the financial impact is. Thank you.
Yeah, there is no numbers.
Right, yeah, this is just changing the
Position.
position
titles.
schedule. They have to hire somebody and it has to be in a budget, so.
I think they're going to use money they already have.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's about $27,000. But Rhonda's right that that information is not here because I watch the meetings, so.
Yeah, I could say there's no financial impact.
There's no budget numbers.
Well, I mean, there are budget numbers associated with it, we just don't have it.
You know,
But this isn't, I guess
we
this
don't know what the
isn't,
salary ranges are.
this isn't actually saying, go spend the money. This is just saying, we are changing the
Titles.
schedule, which, we could add, Emperor of the Galaxy on the schedule. And unless they hire one, there's no money spent. It has to be budgeted for that. So this is just creating, changing the schedule.
Yeah, so if,
And I guess it's changing the class of the direct, land use
Yeah,
director. right?
classification, salary
Classification.
schedule.
Mike, did you have?
yeah, the classification change, is that somebody we already have? So that would change their salary? Is that what that would do?
These are new positions, aren't they?
I think they're consolidating, aren't they?
Well, we don't have a land use director, do we?
No,
No.
Changing that to Director of Planning and Economic Development.
right.
And then they want to add the special assistant for the assessors as a temporary position from the sounds of it.
Yep.
So none of these positions are filled right now, like nothing, of any of these people?
No, the land use director position is vacant, they're advertising. And then the other position would be a new position being created, temporary for the Board of Assessors.
So then whoever's budget that these people fall under, they'd have to adjust their budget and run it by us anyway, right? So this change is really no financial impact at this point in time.
The only change might be to the assessor position, because that would be a new position. They'd have to have money in the budget for that. The land use director should already be salary money in that position, because it was filled, it's now vacant. But that money should still be there in the budget.
But we don't know if there's money in the budget for that at this point, is that what you're saying?
No, in the land use director position, there should be money in the budget, because that was a budgeted position that is now vacant. The special assistant to the assessors, temporary, is a new position that the Board of Assessors would have to have in their budget or money be added to their budget to fund that. I don't know how, it doesn't say how they're funding the new position.
So they're adding the positions to a list, and then, but there's no means of funding it at this point in time.
Well, they haven't told us how they're funding it.
What's that?
They haven't told us how they're funding it. Town
Right.
manager would need to explain that.
Right, there is no funding in here at all, it's just changing the schedule, changing the
They think
name and
changing the title.
Title, and look, my guess is that they're looking for somebody, and they are either making a decision to have a more inclusive job description that would include more things, or they want a job title that is kind of cooler sounding,
Director of Planning and Economic Development.
yeah, that sounds cooler than
Land
director
use.
of,
Land,
So it could be a way to get somebody to consider the position, to change the title. But they're also they're increasing the grade, which means that the person that would come in could get more money than the person that was there currently.
so with the way this is written, if we yay or nay it, does it have any immediate financial impact in the way we're going to view things at this point?
So the financial impact that I see is they are changing a grade, so for a position that already exists. So let's say before, a new person would come in, would get paid $100,000. Now they might be getting $110,000. And what is likely to happen is she has a budget, right? We don't manage everything in the budget. She can use funding from other sources to fund that position. Like the position has been empty for 6 months. If whatever is, but Jay is right, like it will have a financial impact. We don't know the number because that position, if you're changing the classification, if it was $100,000, now it's going to be $110,000, and she can use the money that's on the budget currently to fund it, but then comes next year, we'll need to budget $110,000 plus. So I do think it has a financial impact, and we don't have that number, period. So I think we should defer it because we don't have the number, and that number should be given to us on these changes, what do they mean? That's my thought, but if we want to vote on it, we can, but I think it'll be best for us to defer to actually get a number from town manager during the meeting.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking she's going to provide some sort of salary schedule
Right.
at town meeting to show
What is the change that she's proposing,
Yeah.
yeah.
plus the new position, what that
Right,
salary range would be. Or
Exactly.
that- Yeah.
So you think we want to just defer this till town meeting? So we can hear the presentation and ask more questions?
yep. I think because we don't have the number.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds reasonable.
Rhonda, do you have anything?
I'll recommend we defer this to town meeting.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 16, Salary Administration Plans, SAP amendments, changes other than the Personnel Committee, submitted by the Town Manager and Assistant Town Manager, Human Resource Director. To see if the town will vote to amend the Code of Lunenburg, Chapter 7, entitled Salary Administration Plan, as shown on the document entitled November 18th, 2025 Special Town Meeting, which I guess the handout will be available at the town meeting. Article 16, SAP amendment relative to the so-called fringe benefits or indirect pay provisions such as holiday, vacations with sick pay, sick leave, and the like, dated October 27th, 2025, on file with the office of the town clerk, with addition thereto show as bold, italicized, and with deletions therefore shown as a bold and stricken through or take any other actions thereto. The select board approved it 5-0, and they jointly established a fiscal year goal of the employee experience. Part of the goal was to review the SAP and the draft amendment relative to the same. Included those modernizations, the bylaws, and aid in the recruitment and retention of town employees to present initial modifications of this, at the special town meeting. The article will seek to accomplish that goal. This article also clarifies language of SNAP. Handouts of this article will be available at the town meeting. So I remember a lot of talk about this, and a lot of it was to try to make our positions more in line with what the market will bear. That was the intent. So I think that's a good thing to do. I just, again, I don't know, you know, I don't know exactly, I don't have the handout, so I don't know what they are.
I mean, the handout is on the town website, but it's a lot. And she sent an email but there is something printed on the town website.
Who sent it?
I think it might be easier to find it on the town website, on news, on the bottom. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it says latest new. Special town meeting is the second item on it, and then it's going to be Article 16.
Yeah, 15 pages.
It doesn't say anything in there.
Oh, this is a memorandum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it has 15 pages,
Yeah,
so you
there's 15
can scroll
pages.
down.
For the salary administration plan with the changes in bold or crossed out.
All right.
But there's also no budget number.
And this is creating this is getting rid of the personnel committee.
No, that's the next one.
No, this is
Well,
This
it's
is
probably
17,
part-
right?
No, we're on 16.
16.
Or 16, I'm
16,
looking at the
yeah.
wrong one then.
I think these do have some financial impact,
Oh, definitely,
and we don't have numbers.
no. We don't know what that cost will be.
So I think we defer.
Should we defer it to town meeting?
Yeah, I mean, just the vacation itself, they're changing how vacation is done.
Yeah, they're going accrual method.
Yeah, and that alone will have, so I think we defer, so.
I recommend we defer this to town meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 17, wow, moving. I was already there.
We're catching up to you, Tom.
Nice. Salary Adjustment Plan Amendment Personnel Committee. To see if this is from the town manager and the assistant town manager and the human resources director. To see if the town will vote to amend the code, chapter 70, entitled Salary Administration Plan, as shown in the document entitled November 18th, 2025, Special Town Meeting, Article 17, Personnel Committee, dated October 27th, 2025, on file with the Office of the Town Clerk, with additional thereto shown as bold, italices, and with deletions therefrom shown as bold and stricken through, or to take any other actions relative to thereto. Select Board approved it 4-1, and the summary is, across the Commonwealth, towns are sunsetting personnel board committees and consolidating HR authority under professional management and HR staff. This shift improves compliance, speed, reduction fragmentations, clarification, accountabilities, and alignment with modern labor law and risk management. There has been sustained action in this area rather than a one-off trend. Financial reviews by the Division of Local Services, LDS, routinely flags personnel board committees as duplicative and unnecessary bureaucratic layer, and the DLS has commented that towns are ultimately best served by having a professional manager who can develop and oversee the full-time structure personnel management program. And this approach recognizes the growing importance of and risk inherence in the personnel issues. And then the handout, which is there. So this is they want to get rid of the personnel committee, which we don't have one functioning now.
So she has a handout on that as well on the town website, and she has a longer memorandum on that. I'm just informing you and of that. And she says here, Lunenburg Personnel Committee disbanded on May 29, 2024. It was not disbanded. That's not the proper word to write there.
They resigned.
They resigned. That's very different.
Positions.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it, if there is a financial impact on this or not, but I don't like moving government away from the hands of people. I understand that the personnel committee, we haven't been able to recruit for them, but that is a participation, a work between the government part and the people, and us participants on that. I think it's been done too abruptly, without, again, a lot of communication with the residents. And the proposed solution is a proposed solution that did not come from the residents, is one that was prepared by the town manager and the human resource and the assistant town manager. And that I have issues with that. I think everything that we have a history of things that we bring forward that usually comes from residents in these boards volunteering to put this information together. It's a big change that we haven't had time to talk about it and discuss what are the long-term ramifications of it. And this is one solution. I'll give you guys Groton, that I did a little digging. They started talking about this through their bylaw review committee, and they didn't take action until several years later, which I'm not saying we should do it. But what they did is they made the personnel committee to have a smaller role, one that's not part of day-to-day operations, but they do have that interaction of when we are working on something, on changing grades, and the town manager doesn't work in this alone behind doors. She has to work in an open meeting with the personnel committee. So I think there's a lot of changes that's happening without a lot of public input, and I'm not sure this is the solution that Lunenburg would go for it. I agree we need to modernize it. I'm just not sure I'm very sure this is not the Lunenburg way, because it was not put together by residents. There has been no residents' input on this. It's not how we do things. And I would like this to go through a process that we're discussing how to modernize it, as through the bylaw review perhaps, or through another group. And what would be the role that we would like to see how to modernize that, but still keep it as a citizens body, because that's how everything is run.
How long has it been since everybody left that committee?
2024, about a year, a little over a year.
And since then?
I think they have had like one person offer to be on that, and they got put in someone else. I just think it's a big change without being talked to, without feedback from the residents. I'm okay doing this. I think we just need more time and make sure we're listening to residents' input on how to do this, and maybe find alternative methods that doesn't just mean eliminate a board of volunteers. That's my feedback.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree somewhat with what I was saying. I think it gives too much power to the town manager. There needs to be checks and balances. It's a big change, and yeah, I don't believe we've had enough input from the residents as well regarding this. I know, something needs to be done, we do need to move forward, but it's a big change. It needs proper vetting.
Rhonda, do you have anything?
Rhonda Licio, 181 Reservoir Road. I share what's been said so far on this, and most of my questions that I brought for tonight were on the last article that I don't think you guys will be able to answer. So you'll get to hear me ask them at town meeting.
You're one of the people that are always showing up at the town meeting, so if I don't see you there, we're going to call your house and see if you're all right.
But I did want to just quickly share from the website. This is a quote from the website. "It is the mission of the Personnel Committee to promote and maintain consistent and equitable standards in the administration of the town's personnel bylaw, called the Salary Administration Plan, in conjunction with the town manager, and to represent the interests of both taxpayers and town employees." And what I've seen, okay, I voted no last special town meeting when we had an interim town manager completely alter the salary administration plan. In fact, my favorite former section of it was removed last year. And it was section 5.2 called the merit principle. And this is what it entailed. "All appointments and promotions of town officers and employees shall be made solely on the basis of merit and fitness demonstrated by examination or other evidence of competence and suitability." In my mind, the only thing that would rise to the level of being proper evidence to do anything regarding an employee was we need to establish an annual formal evaluation review process for all the employees. And it really, I question, that used to be in the salary administration plans, pretty much stating that this is how we will do things. If there's another way, aside from doing annual formal reviews or evaluations, I don't know how you get fact-based information or make informed decisions about people. I mean, and I will say, one of our comp towns, Groton, they do annual employee evaluations for all their part-time and full-time employees. And I could go on and on about this. It's just, so basically my point is this. Between last year at special town meeting and this year, Who is looking out for the best interest of the taxpayer? It seems like we're taking some drastic measures to try and recruit employees and keep employees, but at the same time, I think employees like to be communicated with and you go over the job description. How, has this person met all the goals? Maybe they're not understanding something in the job description. I mean, it seems like a normal, healthy thing. And that we don't even have that most basic thing is crazy to me. Thanks.
Thank you.
One other thing that I'll just add which is, if we don't take any action on this and just give more time to be properly vetted, nothing changes. Like, as the town manager has said, in the absence of of the personnel committee, she is making all the decisions. So there's no urgency for this. And I think it's too much of a change without citizens' feedback, citizens' abilities. This is how, it's not an attack on her. She did do the job. She finished this, but this is her proposal, not a body of volunteers that live and reside here and pay the taxes here. And I see value on how we do things in Lunenburg. And I think it needs more time to be vetted and find the Lunenburg way to do this.
I agree that this is kind of thrust upon the town meeting with not a lot of discussion in the town. Now, I personally like to have professionals rather than a committee in this area. It's a lot of regs, a lot of rules, and having people that do it volunteer at a part-time basis who maybe not in that profession. It'd be nice if you had 3 or 4 people who were all professionals there and they could come in and run a committee. If you don't, then it's hard. I can sense that. The town manager is an employee and is, responsible for managing the town. So obviously that's part of their responsibility. So I don't have a problem with the town manager having more responsibility as long as they're doing a good job. If they're not, I expect the select board to deal with that. However, I don't think that this is, like Anna said, something that needs to be done right away. And I'm more concerned about the employees than I am the town, because this is the human resources, this is how the individual employees are being treated by the town. And I want to make sure that they're fully aware of what's happening and they don't have any questions or issues, or at least their questions are being answered. I don't know if that's going to be a big concern or not, but I don't know. So I would, now on the other hand, is there a financial impact? Directly, no, because this is not about money, this is about structure.
Well, I would say that structure has a lot of financial impact.
Sure, yeah.
Like how things are structured, whose oversight is in it, and who gets to make the decision will have a big impact.
Right. I think that the town manager saying, oh, I need this person to run this department this way, is probably a better thing than having a bunch of volunteers doing that who don't understand all the ramifications of the business. That's why you hire a town manager. In the old days, I think back before, you had people making decisions who were town people making decisions. Now you have a town manager who's supposed to be a professional. That's why you hire them. So I don't have a problem. I mean, to me, the problem with if that town manager can't do that, then you got the wrong town manager. So I wouldn't mind giving the town manager that responsibility with the oversight of the select board and when finances come up, the oversight of us. However, I don't think we're ready for that because I don't think there's been enough time to air this out and discuss it to make sure we understand the ramifications for everything.
At the end is that, but Tom, I do appreciate a role. I'm going to use the example you gave, like the town manager decides that this person is going to run this department. She already does that on her day-to-day operations. But I'll give you the example of the changes that she's making with the land user director, where that would have been a conversation that she would have had with the personnel committee about, I'm thinking of changing this position to that. One is always done in public meetings. There is conversations that the public is aware of it. And people and the citizens will have, we are in a town in Massachusetts we are direct government. And I think that process, I value that process where not one person is making all these decisions from their own mind. The citizens are still participating on the process. They're not making the final decision, but they are participants of the process. And that's where I said, I did look at what Groton did, and they changed the role of the personnel committee to be a more advisory and oversee things versus responsible for day-to-day operations and, and various other things that currently the personnel committee has. So I think another solution for this would be to change the scope, the responsibility of the personnel committee. But that has not been a method that we explored because this is a proposal that the town manager gave us. Like, honestly, do you think she's going to come to us with a proposal of like, hey, sign me up for another committee to give me opinions about my job? No one's going to do that. But that's exactly, literally our function here of the FinCom is to give her feedback, like it or not. But I'll tell you, she will likely prefer to not have to deal with a finance committee. Oh. So that's, I appreciate that clunkiness of town government in Massachusetts because it makes it very open, makes it very citizen-focused, and this solution is not one of them. So I would like to.
Well, is there a financial?
Yeah, yes, I would say structurally changing the responsibility of who oversees the salary administration plan and makes decisions and recommendations does have a financial impact.
But there are no budget numbers.
Yeah, but, this is changing who makes the decisions of the salary administration plan does have a financial impact. Mike, do you have anything?
No, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
It needs to be a little bit more defined.
Yeah. All right. Should we do a vote? It's our last one. I just want to go home.
I myself, I don't know, I like the concept, I think it was pushed on us too quickly, and I would want to see more discussion with staff and with the town residents to do this. Now, maybe when they do their presentation, they could do that, but I doubt it. I just think if it's a big enough change for the employees that it should be telegraphed a little bit more and explained a little bit more, rather than coming in on the day after the annual meeting going, hey, guess what? This is permanent now. I don't know. That might not be a problem for staff, but maybe it is. I just want to, it's hard enough to keep good people and to keep the morale up. I don't want to throw anything at them that they might consider as negative. But again, I mean, this particular thing will have no financial impact on the town as far as budgets. We're not paying anybody any more money or paying anybody any less money. It's just switching stuff. And that could have an effect at the end, but not directly.
So then is this a no financial impact then?
I do think it has not a direct financial impact, but it does have financial impact.
Does it have a financial impact if we don't vote on something else that would have a financial impact on it, like downstream?
Yeah, I mean, we're changing the structure of something, so I think, it doesn't have a direct financial impact, but it does have a financial impact.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but like, can it have a financial impact without us voting on that particular financial impact? Does that make
I
sense?
mean, I think we can vote if we supported this or not, period.
So, yeah. You want to just move to defer it so we can listen to the presentation and maybe we'll see more? Because I you know, my biggest concern is I would vote against it right now if I was going to vote yes or no. I think there's no financial impact, but I had to vote for or against. I'd vote against it only because I think it's just too soon. I probably don't have a problem with it for the most part, but
Right.
I think it's just thrown on, and it's a big enough change that this should be talked about more. And maybe I missed it, maybe I've missed the discussions.
No, there hasn't been.
Yeah.
It-
Because I've gone to town meetings where people go, this is the first time I've heard of it. It goes, we've been talking about it at the select board and the finance committee for the past 3 months, which is not a problem because everybody's busy and I get it. I could be that person, so I just don't want to, I don't want to be that person that says, oh, this is new, but it's not.
Well, I mean, I have a commute to work, so I usually listen to music.
I don't think I keep my ears to this enough, so I
Right.
think I would have heard more about it, but
I think we're, for different reasons, we all feel, in a way, everyone who has spoken, Gene hasn't spoken, we feel it's a little bit rushed right now, with not enough information. There is no rush to do this now.
I mean, I would think that it was rushed if there had been any interest by more than one person, who evidently, you said, wanted to be on that committee, but there hasn't been, and it's been almost,
been over a year. You said
Almost a year.
May 2024.
so I don't think it's rushed in that respect. I mean, if there had been some interest in it, and then she said, well, no, let's just get rid of that, I'd feel differently. But I just don't have any sense that there's an interest in townspeople in being on a personnel committee.
Well, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I think the last personnel committee had a tough and traumatic experience dealing with certain things. And of the issues that I know that they had, making this to just be overseen by the town manager, it's not going to help solve those issues. It was, in fact, it was job not well done and executed that really, that was problematic for them, and they didn't have, so those problems are not going to go away because we are changing who owns it. In fact, we're just making it so it's hidden now because we're not going to have the insight that we had by having a personnel committee. That's the nugget on that. So now, if there's a problem that happens, you don't get to know because you don't have a personnel committee. I think the there is not a rush in terms of if they're in the absence of a personnel committee, the town manager acts on, as them. So if we just give it a time and see if we can figure out a different solution, there's nothing that would change on our operations. But we are giving a lot of power to one person and removing the oversight of the citizen.
So let's just put it to a vote. You want to make a motion?
Sure, I always make motions on the positive to just be easier. I make a motion that we approve,
Aye.
okay? So you're, okay. All those in favors?
Aye.
Okay. All those against?
What was the motion? I missed that.
What do we, you know,
Oh, motion to approve, same motion that you usually, why don't you make it, Tom? You're good at
No,
making.
what do we make, so we're making a motion to approve the
Yes.
Article
Yeah,
17?
because motions are bad on the positive, and then you can vote it against versus having a double negative.
All right, so I'll make the motion that we approve Article 17.
Second?
You second, okay, all right,
All those in favor? Aye.
okay.
All those against?
no,
No. Tom?
I defer. I
Defer, okay,
I-
so it's-
I don't,
1, 2, 1, okay.
yeah, that'll be good.
yeah, there's no budget number, but
It's structurally, you're giving a lot of power to someone,
yes,
and right, you know what was the issue
yeah,
that made.
yeah.
And there's one more
Does
thing we gotta do.
making this change improves that or makes it worse because now we're not going to see the problem? True or
I
false?
can't say, I don't know if it makes it worth, it doesn't fix the issue.
Right.
We have to approve the consent, they are recommending a consent agenda of Articles 5, 6, and 14.
Yeah. We
Which
voted
is-
on all of them.
We did? We did,
Yeah,
we did?
yeah, we voted on all of them.
Oh, no, but did we, for the consent agenda, so we usually have to like say, yeah, we agree that the consent,
Oh, yeah.
to approve the consent agenda, 5, 6, and 14. And 5 and 6, we
did.
approved, and 14 is, we said no financial impact. So I'll make a recommendation that we approve the recommendation of the consent agenda of Articles 5, 6, and 14, which they basically say are not things that people are going to talk about, not a big issue.
Yeah, they're not controversial.
Yeah, and I kind of think that makes sense. So I'll make that a motion.
Second, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have anything else for town meeting, a town, special,
Ron, did you have anything?
we can close. I recommend we
Oh, yeah.
close our special hearing, public
Second?
hearing, rather.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public meeting is closed.
Public hearing, okay, sorry.
Public hearing.
Really, without Chris here, do we have a time for the next tri-committee? It's supposed to be in
I think it's the week of Thanksgiving.
I think it's the
November
24th.
24th, is that what it says on the agenda
I don't know,
here?
is that official? I thought there was,
I think I saw an email earlier, 24th.
Yeah.
Is that the Wednesday?
I thought it was a Monday or a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a Monday or Tuesday, I thought.
I didn't see an email saying,
I think that's the Monday, isn't it?
It's the 20th.
6,
Yeah.
Monday, yeah.
the 24th would be a Monday.
I will not be here in Alabama, so I don't know which is better.
It's gonna be warm there. Well, sometimes it gets cold.
They're in the mountains,
Ooh,
the hills,
for fun or?
Paris, for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it is. Planning board public hearing,
Did you go out there or they moved them?
but it doesn't have anything else. but maybe,
Well, are they at the tri-board?
yeah, the tri-board, they don't have, they usually would list it on the,
Oh, who's presenting?
I think it's the school.
yeah.
Yeah, you said it was a school only?
Yeah, I think this one's coming to school, it's only the school.
Yes,
Which is only half the budget.
yeah, more than half the budget.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Next Finance Committee is December 11th.
Special town meeting, the 18th?
Yep. Any discussion? Any more?
Comments, concerns,
Left, so we're all by ourselves.
motions?
Motion to adjourn?
Anyone from the
Second.
public? Anyone from the
All
public?
those in favor?
Is there anyone from the public comment?
I don't think there's anybody online.
No.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Yay.
We're adjourned.